The reason you don't believe in yourself consistently has everything to do with you and very little to do with your circumstances. Sometimes we like to think it's because things aren't perfectly aligned, and if things were to look this way, then I would start to believe in myself. Then I would start to have faith. But it's actually the antithesis of faith. Because faith is what? Believing without seeing. So we need to have a belief in order to create the result that we're looking to achieve. But for some reason, that hasn't happened for you. You don't believe in yourself, or you're struggling to believe in yourself. You feel like where you're going is a very, very far cry from where you want to be in life. Well, I'm going to break all of this down right now, get into the psychology behind this, so you can reverse engineer this process, build a solid belief system in yourself, and actually attain the results and the goals that you're looking to achieve. But if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I post weekly uploads around masculine improvement from a biblical perspective. So how can you start believing in yourself more? Because belief is actually what plants the seed to reality. What we believe in is what actually creates what we see in front of us, like what we have in our lives and what we don't have. Everything comes down to what it is you believe in. So if you're not believing in yourself, it's because you've created a narrative about who you are to justify that. Basically, what happened was there was an event or a circumstance that happened in your past that you assigned way too much meaning and significance to. And because of that moment, you now decided in your life that this is just who I am. More practically, what I mean is, let's say that you approached a girl, and for whatever reason, she didn't like you. Maybe it was because of what you were wearing, how you were sounding, your energy. She could have been going through something wrong with her life. Like, who knows what could have happened. So now what happened is you assigned that moment to mean something about yourself. I must be unattractive. So now every time that you go to try something new or to express yourself or challenge yourself, there is this deep belief in your back of your mind telling you that you don't have what it takes, that you can't do this, because something happened before in the past that convinced you that you can't. Now created this voice, this critic in your mind telling that you can't do this, it's not you, you're not good enough, you're not attractive. And I'm here to tell you that that voice is actually full of shit. Not that what happened wasn't true, but that is not an absolute truth about who you are. See, I talk a lot about identity on this channel, like how everything ties back to identity, but it truly does. What you do is not nearly as important as who you are when you're doing it, because who you believe you are is going to be true. Whether you believe in yourself in a positive light or you believe in yourself in a negative light, doesn't matter. That belief is going to be correct. What you do every day shows me what you believe in. That's why if someone comes to me and they could tell me all they want, like, oh, I believe in myself, I believe in this, I believe in creating this process and making this happen, and I simply just can look at their behavior, I can look at their actions and determine what you truly believe in, because what you do is just a manifestation of what you believe. I know I'm talking big picture here, but let me make this tangible for you. What you first have to do to start believing in yourself more consistently as a man is to identify this past event. So what happened? Did that girl reject you? Did the business fail? Did you mess up a couple sets at the gym? Did you have a conversation that didn't go according to plan? Something has happened in your past that you began believing way too much in. What is the narrative that you created from it? Because there was a belief that was planted. It was like a seed. And the more that you ignored that seed and you kept making the same mistake over and over again, you essentially prove your negative story about yourself correct. See, look, I knew it wasn't going to work because I already believed that I was no good. I already believed that I wasn't going to be successful. And you use that to justify your faulty belief system, which keeps you in the negative spiral and in the negative pattern until you eventually can break out of it. Hopefully, you can break out of it. So you have to first identify what happened. What was the reason that you think the way that you do? And most men, unfortunately, don't even get to this point where they admit that there's a belief that needs rewiring. It's like a software in a computer. Eventually, your computer is going to need an update because the software that was doing its part no longer serves you. So you have to upgrade. You have to get that firmware update where it erases all the old files and begins creating new ones so you can operate at a higher level. It's the same thing that happens in our minds. We have these old arbitrations, these old ideas of who we were. So to actually improve our lives in a significant way, we have to understand that those served a purpose. It got us to where we are now, but now they no longer serve us. Because the truth is, if you were actually operating at the level of the man that you're supposed to be, if you were actually ready to lead a woman, to, have a really successful career in business and do all these things creatively, if you were actually there, you'd believe it and you'd have it right now, and you wouldn't be watching this video. So I'm not saying this to shame you or to judge you at all, because I was absolutely there at one point as well. But I had to do the work to understand where this belief was coming from. My belief for the longest time was I couldn't attract women without my friends there. And the reason was because every time that me and my friends went out, this is back like when I was actually going out consistently, and not that I was drinking a lot, but we would do a lot of social events, go to bars. We would go to a lot of bars and hang out at night and do stuff on the weekends, a typical early 20s type of thing, right? And every time we went out, I was with friends. And, we'd have some girls that would approach us. We would talk to women and go into different groups and be social and stuff. And usually they led to very positive, fun nights and fun moments. But in the back of my mind, I was always thinking, man, I don't know if they like us because of me or if it was just because of my friends. And I would always kind of doubt myself. I'd always doubt my ability to be charismatic, to be a leader socially, to generate interest from women in that way. I'd always doubt myself. And then I remember one night, what does any good scientist do? This is more of a science as it is an art. You have to test your hypothesis. If I think that I can't hold a conversation and get women attracted to me without people there, I'm gonna have to just test that. So one night I decided to go out solo. I was just going around in my city downtown, and it was like a Friday night or Thursday night, so it wasn't crazy busy when I got there. And I wasn't drinking, because a lot of guys will use that as a reason to start talking to people, especially women. They call it liquid courage, but really what it does is it lowers your inhibitions and you actually say things that you don't actually mean because you just stop caring. Now, it can work, but whole other conversation. I don't recommend you drink alcohol anyway. I don't really drink anymore. I don't drink anymore, truthfully, and you don't need it. You just simply don't need it to have a good time. But beside the point, I went to the bar and I knew the bar owner. So the first thing I did was I walked in and I started talking to him just to get my momentum going. And we had a decent conversation. I saw some girls in the corner. They're like the only ones there. I went over to their table and just said some stupid stuff. I was like, hey, what's up, guys? How's your night? Something simple like that, right? And, two of them weren't super interested. One was actually a little bit more interested. And I was just talking to all of them about nonsense, like just creating some small talk. They ended up leaving pretty early, but the funny thing that happened, I started to get a little bit of confidence. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm in a social momentum right now. I can do this. I can actually talk to people. And then eventually some more people came in the bar. These older crowds saw me. We started having another conversation there. They invited me to hang out with their group. I was talking to them for a little bit. And then I saw some people that typically go to the bar that we've always seen. They came in the bar, some college-age girls or whatever. I don't know. I think they were all underage. But saw them. They came in. I was talking to them for a little bit. And then I was just chilling. I'm not really doing too much. I'm just enjoying myself, making conversation. And eventually these two girls that were really cute came in. They're probably the best looking girls in the bar. They were sitting right next to me. And a friend of mine who I always see every time I go there, he goes, hey, my two friends over there think you're cute. You want me to introduce you? I said, yeah, for sure. And I was talking to them and having a great time. So basically, long story short, by the end of the night, I'm talking to every single person in the bar. I have these two girls that are completely all over me. They were into me. The one girl was kind of a little drunk, so she was like trying to kiss me the whole night. And the other girl, her friend, who also liked me, was talking to her, and I was just having fun with it. And just, again, I was sober as hell. I wasn't drinking. I was just enjoying myself and having a good time. And the reason I'm telling you this story is because I had to literally bust the myth that I wasn't charismatic or I wasn't a fun time. I couldn't attract girls on my own. And ever since that moment, I started to build a new belief about myself. Like, you know what? I actually can do this. I am a fun guy to be around. I am a guy that is attractive to women. I can hold conversation and be totally competent socially without people around me. But if I never did that, then I would have still had the same belief, ruining and running my life. Like I want you to think about that. How many beliefs do you hold right now that are actually holding you back from the things that you want in life? It could be with women. It could also be with business. It could be with work. Like you're not asking for that promotion because you don't think that you're actually a good enough employee. Or are you not starting that business because you don't think you have what it takes creatively to go out there and do something or to improve your finances? It's all stemming from a belief that you hold about yourself. So where is that holding you back? Where are you falling short in that? And this process is something I take all my clients through. So if you want to go deeper with this, I know I'm kind of giving you the shorthand, quick version of it. There's a link down below if you want to work with me to apply for a time slot I have on my calendar. I can go a little bit more depth on a call like that. But to give you the short version here, you actually have to call that belief out. Otherwise, it's going to continue to have power over you. It's like the saying, like what we hide actually grows in power. What we don't acknowledge has a hold over us. So you have to acknowledge what's going on. I don't believe I'm attractive. Or I don't believe that I can do this. I don't believe I can start that business. Whatever the belief is, call it out. Do not hide this. Do not run away from this. Do not avoid and distract yourself from something else, because that is the first catalyst to actually making a change in your belief system, is to calling out the one that doesn't work. Acknowledge that this is an event that happened that made you start thinking this way. It's not true. It's not reality. It might have happened. It might be valid, but it is not an absolute truth about who you are. This is a cool exercise that my coach and my mentor would share with me. He goes, if I cut you open from the top to the bottom and I opened you up, would I find a piece inside of you that says that Tino Regano is no good? No. Would I find a piece inside of you that exists that says Tino Regano is unattractive? No. So if it doesn't exist in our body, where does it live? It lives in our minds. And where does it live in our minds? It's just a thought that we've created out of thin air. You could just as easily create a new one. So once you call it out, the second thing you have to do is begin stacking new evidence towards the direction of the man that you want to be. So what do I mean? I mean taking new action, making new choices that are going to feel uncomfortable. Because if you're used to doing something one way for so long, it's going to feel inauthentic. It's going to feel foreign, but it should. Like it's not going to feel natural until you do it for months and months and months, until eventually it just becomes a part of who you are. So that's when you build habits. That's when you can build an identity that is rooted in a new belief system. So let's say, for example, you approach a girl, right? And the first girl doesn't like you, for whatever reason, rejects you. But then you approach 10 more, and 5 out of the rest of the girls, maybe half, like you. And you're like, wow, okay, I'm not 10 for 10, but some of these girls like me. I have a new belief system I can build. I actually think I have what it takes. I can be charismatic. I can be fun. I can enjoy myself. I can do X, Y, Z. So you have to start taking new action in a new direction to build new evidence. When you build new evidence, you build new results. And when you have results, you build new beliefs around who you are. Over time, a belief turns into an identity. And an identity is simply just who you are. And your actions will reflect that, and vice versa. So I know this sounds really complicated. It's not. It's simply just acknowledging that what you have been doing hasn't been working, and it's not the true you. There's more for you out there. There's bigger potential for you. And I believe as a Christian, it is the path that God actually laid out for you before you got in your own way. That's what I believe. That's my worldview. And it's actually taking the necessary steps, being courageous enough to make a new choice that is actually aligned with where you want to be. Your dream life, your world that you're creating, all the goals that you have. Begin moving in that direction while simultaneously creating this identity of who it is you choose to be. Like, what does that guy look like? What does he sound like? What does life look like? What are you doing every day? How do you want to feel? How do you want to walk? How do you want to talk? Because it's like you're building a character. And I don't believe in fake it till you make it either, because you're not faking anything. You're going through the process. You're being it until you become it. You're not faking it because it's genuinely you. It's not going to feel like you at first until it does. Like, I have no genuine other way to describe it. Like, the things that I've done in my life where it felt very unfamiliar and not authentic, eventually it turns into being natural. It turns into just coming naturally. Like, you don't have to try. It just becomes part of your identity. It becomes part of who you are. So that's really it. Those are the 2 steps. You have to first, I want to make it easy for you so you can walk away with something from this video. First thing you have to do is acknowledge where that old belief came from and what did you actually make that mean about yourself. The second thing, well, I guess the 1B to that, is to call that belief out. Name it, claim it, so you can transcend it. Then you want to start stacking new evidence in the direction of the person that you want to become. You have to be courageous. You have to be clear with who you want to be as well. So understand the who, the what, and the why. The how will take care of itself. You don't have to worry about that. The how gets revealed as you begin walking anyway. And that's been my experience. Like, on my journey, I didn't know how I was going to do half the things that I've done, but I figured it out because I knew what I wanted and I knew why I wanted it. And I believed and I had a faith in God, where He was going to support me, and I'd figure it out. And that's what happens. You know, you build your new identity as you begin taking new action. And you end up taking new action because then you start to believe in yourself, and it becomes a natural process. A great book to read as well is Atomic Habits. It talks about this process of like your actions and your identity and how closely tied together these things are, because your actions are a manifestation of who you believe you are, meaning the things you do every single day show me what you believe. This relationship is very symbiotic, like they need each other. So hopefully this is making sense. I know this is kind of a deeper topic. Like I said, I go into very much depth with my clients on this stuff. We spend a lot of time together to understand this concept because it all actually culminates to making permanent change. Like, I'm not a Band-Aid solution kind of guy. I hope you know that by now by watching some of these videos. I don't just believe in, yeah, just do X amount of work and then eventually you'll get it. It's like it's not about trying harder. It's not about just doing more. Sometimes it's about taking a step back, looking at your situation, looking at where things aren't working, and adjusting, and then moving forward. Sometimes to move forward, you have to take a couple steps back and do some adjustments and learn and grow and reflect, and then you can course correct. I think a lot of guys in the manosphere get this wrong, and they tell you just do more of this, make more money, build more wealth, create more status, talk to more girls. On the surface, it might feel good temporarily, but if you have a deep-rooted identity in something and you keep taking action and action alone where you're not doing deeper work like this, it's not going to last forever. And if you do build something with it, it's not going to fulfill you because it came from an identity that isn't actually you. You built an entire life on a false identity, on a false narrative of you thinking that you're no good. So you end up talking to hundreds of girls and making all this money to justify that you are good. But deep down, you still believe that you're not. And you stack all that stuff on a faulty foundation, it's not going to end very well. You know, I tried doing that too with my business and all the things that I've been building in my life. I didn't believe I was good enough. I didn't believe I had what it takes to be a content creator or a coach or any of that. And I'm still very much in my process. I'm not where I want to be yet. But for the first several years, I didn't believe in myself, but I was still taking action. I was still doing more and burning myself out because I wasn't aligned with an identity. Now where I'm creating content, it's not easy by any means. It's a challenge. It's a welcome challenge, but I'm not like forcing none of this. I'm very much at peace. I know where I'm going. I have faith in what I'm building, and I know who I am. And I'm owning that and letting that basically lead every choice that I make out here. I have a tendency to kind of just talk a lot around these things that sound very complex, and I really hope I'm making it simple for you. It's a simple process, it's just not easy. And most guys never want to sit down and do this deep type of work because it is so uncomfortable. It is very confronting in a lot of ways. It's going to be the thing that makes the biggest difference for you in the long run, and I can attest to it because I'm also in that process myself. and I've seen what it does for me, and I've also seen what it does for my clients. And again, if you want to work with me personally and get even deeper with this so we can get understand what your specific situation is and tailor this process to where you specifically are at. I'm looking for at least 5 to 8 more guys to work with. I only work with so many guys at a time. Click the link down below to apply for a call with me, and then we'll see if you're a good fit and if I can support you in getting to where you want to be as a man. And if you have a question about this or a question in general, follow me on Instagram. I'm active on there every single day. My link will be down below as well. And like the video too. Comment below, let me know what your thoughts are on this, if you learned anything from this video. I always love to hear your feedback. And yeah, if you're new here, obviously subscribe to the channel. I'm posting videos every single week. And that's it. I hope this was helpful, man. I hope this was valuable. Again, these are very deep topics, and sometimes I don't even really know how to fully approach them on a YouTube video because it's hard to condense all into like 10, 15, or 20-ish minutes of a video. There's a lot here. There's a lot of depth. Again, this is decades of work that I've had to learn on myself, and I'm trying my best to explain it as best as I can. So hopefully this made sense. If it didn't, and you want to learn about it and you want to talk to me, feel free to reach out. I'm always here to be a resource. That's it for me, man. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.